Hello everyone. The Mauga nerf just dropped about an hour ago, and I wanted to make a short video about my thoughts and what you should be playing now. I don't want to keep you waiting, so let's just get right into this. Let's start with the Mauga nerf. They said he would get hit pretty hard, and they weren't lying. They switched 50 of his armor to health, nerfed his passive slightly, and nerfed overdrive a lot. The issue is, the lower his lifesteal gets, the more he's encouraged to shoot the tank to get healed. I think this ability just needs a rework, as now he is just weak but still does the same thing, which is tank busting. It's boring and there's not a lot to think about when you use the ability. Cage Fight doesn't grant infinite ammo now, but it reloads your weapons, which won't be much of a noticeable change. I know I'm not really going out on a limb here, but I think he's going to feel pretty terrible now. His bad matchups are even worse, think characters like JQ, Reaper, or Sigma, while his good matchups are probably still playable. Characters like Roadhog still lose to him, although you can play around the matchup as proven by 6. I'd rather they just disable Mauga until they figure out a rework, but these nerfs should work in the short term. There are a lot of other interesting changes here to go over. Orissa's falloff got removed, which is terrifying because every time they've tried this, she's been able to get cross-map kills anytime she hits a javelin. You're gonna have to be much more careful around that cooldown. She also no longer takes crit damage during Fortify against Mauga, which is a much needed change. Overall, I think she still won't be popular, but her win rate should be good for those who do play her. Hog gets a slight nerf, but I still think he'll be one of the most dominant tanks. Before Mauga was released, Hog was the best tank in the game, and I think this nerf isn't gonna change that. Sojourn gets a slight buff, which I personally don't like as she's already meta in the competitive scene, but I understand that she's underpowered in the majority of the ranks. Anytime a character is reliant on mechanical skill shots, they tend to be hard to balance, but this buff isn't too crazy. We'll just have to keep an eye on her and see how good she is. Summer gets some small buffs, but I don't think they'll have much of an impact on how she's played or how successful she is. I like that they're taking it slow with her because when she's meta, literally no one has fun except the Sombra players. Ana gets the duration of anti reduced to 3 seconds, which seems fair. I wish they would just rework the ability somehow because nerfing it makes it less effective, but you still have to pick it into characters like Hog or Mauga. They're just going to be harder to kill now. I don't think this is going to change her pick rate at all, although it may have a small impact on her win rate. Iari gets a few buffs to her ammo count, secondary fire resource, and some other quality of life changes. I'm not sure it's enough to really bring her back, but it's much better than just adjusting her damage or pylon, which can quickly make her busted at the higher ranks. The issue is characters like Tracer, Sombra, Ball, and a few others can easily destroy pylon with very little risk, and then Iari becomes a worse Ashe at that point. The last buffs are to Lifeweaver, who gets some small changes to help him have a little bit more consistent damage. 80 mutes per second though is still relatively slow for a projectile, and I'm not sure how noticeable this change is going to be. Going forward, I think we're going to see a lot of Hog, Sig, and Ramatra. Sig has been strong for literal years now and avoids getting nerfed for yet another patch. Hog was the strongest tank in the game, and now post Mauga nerfs, I think he's going to reclaim his spot at the top, as his nerfs were pretty conservative. I think Ram will be at the top in the competitive scene, and can roll pretty easily on ladder as well. Mauga forced him to basically be a block bot, and now that he can punch easier, he should be very strong. Orissa's a sleeper pick who good players can win big on, but the majority of the player base probably shouldn't default to her. Ball, Zarya, Diva, Ryan, and Winston will feel about the same, although Winston may see a bit of a return with Mauga being less prevalent. The damage and support categories are much less interesting to talk about, and I don't think the meta will really change much, if at all, for them. Ana and Kiri will still be good in every match, Mercy will be good when your DPS are good, and Iari might be useful again for those with good aim. Xin could come out on top this meta, as I think the brawly comps that favor Orisa, Ram, and Hog will come out on top, and that's where Xin really excels. I would have liked to see some changes to Ball here, but I believe the devs have talked about a rework potentially coming, maybe, so I think they're waiting on that. I've linked the patch notes in the description below so you can read them for yourself. Remember, this video is my opinion of what will be good and what you should play this patch. If you have a different opinion or think one of my points doesn't make sense, leave a comment down below. That's all I have for today. I wish you the best of luck out there on the ladder, and like always, I'll see you in the next one.